What is going on, RouG family? It's your man Hendo here, back for another video, and I am glad that you could be here with me today as we take a look at the top 5 unsigned players in the NFL. And no, they will not just be unsigned free agents, they are actually the top 5 unsigned players in the league today. And I'm glad that you could be here with me, so sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and let me know if you think I hit this on the head. I know that the top 2 choices are going to be one that teams across the league are dying to sign. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 5 of the players who are not signed currently is Yannick Ngakoue. Now, if you're looking for a pass rusher, Yannick Ngakoue is your man. He may not be stout against the run because he's not big enough to kind of hold up, but if you need a pass rush specialist, he is your guy. The 28-year-old linebacker has played for the Jaguars, the Vikings, the Ravens, the Raiders, and most recently the Indianapolis Colts. Now, throughout his career, he has had no less than 8 sacks per season. And we all know the cure for a team that does not have a stout secondary is a great pass rush, which Yannick provides. I don't know if he's out here taking his time on a team that he wants to choose, or if there's some issues going on, maybe medical, I don't know. But I feel like this young man should have been signed a while back. But like I said, he is not stout against the run, so that may be holding teams back, and maybe the money that he wants or feel he deserves is why he hasn't been signed yet. Coming in at number 4 is Jadeveon Clowney. Now, for most people that know, the former first number 1 overall pick has not lived up to expectations. For some reason, people thought he was going to come into the league and be a sack master, and that just wasn't the case. But Jadeveon does make plays. He has 43 sacks over his career, and you can't find too many guys that are still around that has that type of production. I think what's hindering him is being that he was a number 1 overall pick. They look at the stats and see that the sacks aren't up there, but he is a disruptor. He gets after plays. He plays the run very well. Now, I know last season may not have been his finest, only having 2 sacks. It may have more to do with Joe Wood, and that's why he's out the door. But the season prior, he had 9 sacks. So that lets you know he still has something in the tank. Now, once again, he may not be that sack producer that everyone's looking for, but he plays the run exceptionally well, and he makes plays. He gets a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks, and if you can't get a sack, pressure is the next best thing. Once again, it could be all up to what does he feel is his worth. If the contract situation is correct, a team might get a steal by signing Jadeveon Clowney. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. Baltimore Ravens. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Saquon Barkley. Now, I know people are going to say, hey, Saquon is under the franchise tag right now, but currently he is still unsigned, meaning that there is some kind of turmoil or tension between himself and the New York Giants organization. Could he possibly pull a Le'Veon Bell and set out the season? Could the Giants sign him to a long-term deal? Could the Giants sign and trade him? Who's to say? But as of right now, he is my number 3 unsigned player. Now, last season, Saquon had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns rushing, not to mention catching 57 passes for 338 yards. He was the New York Giants offense during the season. All hail to the great Daniel Jones, but without Saquon, they would have never made it to the playoffs. So if a team could swing a deal for him, I think it would be worthwhile. I know that Saquon has had his injuries in the past, but hey, looking at what he does when he's on the field, it is worthwhile. He is only entering his 6th year, so he still has some tread left on the tires, and he is a phenomenal talent. So any team would be lucky to get him. Now, speaking of superstar backs, next up on my list, coming in at number 2 is Dalvin Cook. I honestly don't know what the Minnesota Vikings were thinking. I know they were doing a salary dump, but you cannot take your second best offensive weapon and let him go over contract situations. I know that they have Madison there and think that he's going to fill in admirably, but you have a rusher who's rushed for 1,100 yards the past 4 seasons. Dalvin Cook is a home run threat. Whenever he touches the ball, he can take it the distance. Not only is he a threat rushing the ball, he can also take it the distance catching passes. I know that the running back position is a devalued position, but when you have someone this dangerous with that 4.4, 4.3 speed, you cannot pass up on it. I know the Miami Dolphins have offered him a contract, but apparently the numbers were a little bit too low, so he is still out there looking for a team, possibly waiting on DeAndre Hopkins to see where he goes to team up with him to try to get that title. So if you have a running back situation that's in flux, or you have a starter that's just not quite there yet, or even a younger back coming off of injury, you should take a look at Dalvin Cook. he is a difference maker and can take a contending team into a championship team. And coming in at number one, we have none other than DeAndre Hopkins himself. I know if you've been to the channel before, you've heard me speak glowingly about DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like this should be the #1 target for all teams, especially the Baltimore Ravens. Even though they signed a bunch of wide receivers during the offseason, OBJ, Nelson Aguilar, I still think DeAndre Hopkins is what takes us over the top. Not saying that we can't do it without him, but why not get more talent on the offensive side to help you score with the likes of the Kansas Cities, the Buffaloes, the Cincinnati Bengals, and now possibly even the New York Jets. But that's just not for my team. This is for any team out there. Now, I know some people believe that DeAndre Hopkins is past his prime, and that's why no teams have signed him. But if you look at last season, he did have 700 yards and was on pace to eclipse the 1,400-yard mark. But with Arizona being in flux, the quarterback situation with Kyler Murray going down, they kind of shut him down for the season, not wanting him to get injured, hoping that he would return to the team. But lo and behold, you have the Cardinals cardinaling, so they released him, and now he's out there. DeAndre says he still has approximately about 5 years left to play, and I believe him. Like, even if he's still not the DeAndre Hopkins of old, he can add to any offense around the league. I know that he had visits with the New England Patriots and the Tennessee Titans, but he left without a deal, so that left the door open for him to go elsewhere. I know that Kansas City, the Chiefs, they're interested in signing him, but right now they just don't have the cap space to do it. With training camp mere weeks away, I would think that he would like to get on a team, get acclimated to the system, and learn the plays. So if you want a wide receiver with a career over 11,000 yards and 70 touchdowns, he is the man for you. Once again, I thank you for rocking with your boy, hanging out, and checking out this video. If you liked it, hit that button. Let me know in the comment sections if you agree or if you disagree with my list or who I left off. And also make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you are notified whenever I come out with a new video or when I go live. Appreciate y'all, and I will see you next time. It's your boy.